weather's kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. You'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight.
Howdy there, I'm Matt McKinley and we're burning daylight.
In the saddle till the job's done right.
Welcome to Burning Daylight, the only podcast for the working cowboy. Well, howdy there, daylight burners. Happy Monday. Hope your weekend treated you all right. Sorry about the lack of content here lately. We've been at it hard. Winter's kind of been kicking our ass here lately. It's man, I know I've said it before, but a wet winter in the feedlot's not much fun. Not ideal. I'm enjoying the moisture once I leave the feedlot, but when I'm on the feedlot, it just makes life kind of miserable, and there's not a lot you can do about it. We got a lot of moisture here over the last month, and it hadn't warmed up a whole lot, so it'll warm up enough to thaw things out in the afternoon, and then you make some nice new deep ruts, and then it'll freeze like hell, and yeah, you can float your teeth driving over that shit in the morning. And how it's treacherous on horses. It's tough on cattle. It is hell on equipment. Holy shit. If there's one, I guess what was it? I think it was Ben Franklin is like the two constants in life are death and taxes. And I'll give him a pass because he was born a little bit ahead of his time, but also equipment will break. That's also another constant. Like, no matter what it is, if it's a machine of some sort, eventually it will break. Typically when you don't want it to, when you need it the most. And in particular, when it's cold outside and it's miserable to work on, and it'll break down the most inconvenient places, or you'll get stuck. We had 2 loaders stuck the other day. Took an excavator to get them out. That was a fun morning. Yeah, our yard loader was loading straw. And the bottom fell completely out of where he was loading from, and it got stuck. Also had the squeeze attachment, the hay squeeze for all you all you folks that live, I guess, more towards the Midwest. You're used to telehandler and hay forks and whatnot, but they use a squeeze out here, and real handy for picking up a block of hay, and not handy at all for using as an attachment to get yourself out of the mud. Didn't work. Feed loader, went and tried to get that one out. Buried that sumbitch too, and then you're in a real pickle because you got a lot of cattle standing around wanting feed, and it takes a long time to shovel. Let's say our normal batches are anywhere from like 8 to 15,000 pounds. Takes a long time to shovel all that shit up in the feed truck by hand. It was a little bit of a pickle, but we got through it. We got both loaders out. Luckily for us, there were other people that have different equipment that was able to, and this, it was pretty cool watching this thing work, because that editor was tipped way up on the tracks as we were pulling on that thing on that loader. And anyway, it was it was a real boggy mess, and it hasn't got much better. It's like slowly but surely some of our roads are starting to dry out. County roads a train wreck, just absolute train wreck. Just potholes, beat to shit, washouts. And yeah, once again, not much you can do about it till it kind of melts off and dries out a little bit. Then you can do some band-aid work on it. They could, but it's the state, county. You're not real. Not gonna hold out much hope for them to get after it. But all things considered, we've been okay. Death loss is better than I thought it would be. Not great still, but there's one thing about shitty weather. You can count on a good storm to just go ahead and take care of those ones that you were, hoping you'd get out on a sail load or a railer load or something that was just like barely hanging on, and they weren't ever going to amount to much. Well, old man winter take care of that shit for you. Just wipe them right on out. And yeah, and everything just kind of looks tough because there ain't a dry place to lay down in the whole damn county, it seems like. I mean, even cattle outside, man, it's just wet, cold, sloppy. Yeah, it's winter, and it's funny how they keep coming up with new names to call these winters that like used to be like a norther, like a blue norther. When you get a real nasty winter storm, that was kind of like a norther. But now it's like they call it a bomb cyclone, and then whatever the shit that we're getting over here in California, they're calling it like an atmospheric river. And then that used to just be like a wet year. Like, it was just, it seemed like the terms that we used to describe the weather were a little more just like common sense, as opposed to like it's like it's all made for like the evening news. Just like, breaking news, bomb cyclone pounds the western US. And yeah, it's it's a fun one. I was looking, I've got drought.gov. I did not know that was a website, but thank you, US government, for creating something that I didn't know we needed. But yeah, drought.gov. La Nina. So it looks like, except for California and then the Southeast, Southern U.S. from coast to coast has below average precipitation for all the La Nina years put together, blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure what I'm looking at on these maps, so we'll come back to that. But it seems like there's been, I don't know, like quite a bit of moisture in a lot of places this winter. I know there's always places that are doing worse off than the rest of us. Okay, so this was on October 13th. Oh, well, that was an announcement that NOAA was going to announce. Here we go. The Old Farmer's Almanac. From the annual weather summary from November 22nd to November 22 to October 23. Winter will be warmer than normal. That part hasn't been true. With above normal precipitation, that part has been true so far. Coldest periods will be in late November. Mid and late December and mid January. It's been pretty damn cold here lately. Snowfall will be below normal in most areas that normally receive snow, with the snowiest periods in early to mid January and early February. On average, April and May will feature near normal temperatures and slightly above normal precipitation. Summer will be hotter than normal, slightly above normal rainfall. So sounds like we're heading into a wet year. Huh. So this is for the desert Southwest, I guess. Well, let me see here. I don't know what for Smith Valley, Nevada. Winter will be warmer than normal. Dun, 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 dun. Coldest periods in mid-November and early February. Precipitation will be above normal with above average snowfall in the far north and far south. Snowiest periods will be mid-November, late December, early to mid-January, and early February. All right. So we're looking at a wet year, it kind of looks like. And a warmer year, maybe. I don't know. It's been pretty goddamn cold here lately. So this was all from the Farmer's Almanac. So it sounds like, maybe. So rain and snow, mild. January 16th to the 19th. That's already passed. Snowstorm south. 20th to the 31st. Periods of rain and snow and warm, with temperatures of about 40 degrees and 2.5 inches of precipitation for the month of January. I think we've got that sucker licked already. We've done good on the precipitation. And I guess I've said, I don't know how many times, I hate to bitch about moisture, but like the big man upstairs can kind of just turn it off for a little bit, turn on the sun. I'll even take a little bit of wind here and there because it's wet and sticky and boggy. Our catch basins are caught. They're caught. They're filled right up to the top. We got some room in our like backup ones, but boy, it's been a real bear of a winter. The valley, or the canyon that connects this valley over to the next one where my wife teaches, really kind of a cool little drive. Big tall canyon walls. Well, at least one section's not there anymore. Well, it's on the road. Shut down that little thoroughfare, and they finally did get there was a lot of talk, and I actually never did see any like official release until the other day when they announced that they were going to start clearing it. But boy, I love small towns this way because, you'd go into the parts house or something, or you'd go into the feed store or wherever. We don't have a feed store here, but I guess they do sell some feed, but kind of your general like hardware store / feed store. Like I think we're picking up a bottle of oxygen and acetylene for the torch, and it's that old trope about the old men, drinking coffee, and it's true. Every small town there's a coffee shop crew that gets all the world's problems solved before about 9 o'clock in the morning, and then they actually have to go to work and do shit. But you hear all the latest to-dos, and there was rumors that it was going to be up to 6 months before they got that road cleared because they had to call in the Army Corps of Engineers. And then it's right by the river. So, then you get the EPA involved because, falls under federal jurisdiction under the waters of the U.S. deal, or yeah. And then, anytime you get the feds involved, shit takes forever. So I had no real expectations for it to get opened back up anytime soon, and I'll believe it when they finally have 2 lanes of traffic going through there. Again, so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, it does get. I don't think it'll take too much to to clear it once they get the equipment that they need. Some big fucking rocks, but yeah, it's just boy, it's winter, and it's been, like I said, it's been unusually kind of harsh winter, but it's really not anything out of what you can expect for December and January, heading into February in the northern hemisphere. Like, it tends to get cold this time of year, and when there's moisture, when it's cold, that usually comes in the form of snow and ice, and it's just not, maybe it's more than average, but it's not all that unusual what is happening. It's not unusual at all. It just kind of happens every year around this time. It gets cold, and some years are wetter than others, And but I don't know. It just, there's this like blanket push to blame it all on climate change at some point. And it's like, I don't know, man. It just seems like weather to me. It just seems like plain old weather. And as far as weather goes, I'm ready for some spring weather. Like, it seems like it's going to be a good spring for cattle. Once we get there, but we got to get through this winter first, and this winter fucking sucks. So, being said, like, there's a lot of other stuff going on. Like, fucking the football games here lately have been outstanding. A lot of fun to watch. I've been enjoying it. They've just played football, really, and not try to shove politics down your throat, which, I mean, that's mine and Aaron's job. We're the politics shover down the throat, or not supposed to be the NFL. So now that they're just playing football, they do a pretty good job at that when they just play football. It's fun to watch. Really enjoyed it. Gonna be a good AFC championship. Gonna be good NFC championship. Gonna be a fun couple of weeks to watch football. Today was good games. Niners look really, really fucking good. The Eagles look really, really good, and then the 2 best quarterbacks in the league are getting ready to play each other in the AFC championship. It's gonna be fun. I enjoy it. I won a little bit of money this weekend too. Not a lot. Had a couple bigger bets or bigger payouts hit, but all my other ones, I only missed one team losing, I guess. But spreads didn't work out. That's all right. Still in the game, and yeah, it's fun. We got Elko coming up here in less than 2 weeks now. February 3rd and 4th. Boy, I'm still nervous about that. I know there's going to be quite a lot of people go this year, or should be anyways, and I just want to put on a good show. But we got a good lineup. I think we got everybody confirmed. So got the Wilsons coming in. Matt and Rachel, Wampus Cat, Wilson. Eric Shields joining us again, coming up from Texas. Ira Grusovic is going to try his best to make it down there. If he's in Elko, he'll be playing with us there at the stage door. So hopefully Ira G can make his way down. And then Cope Wilson is coming down from Montana, play a few songs and sit in with us. So it's going to be a fun show. We'll be doing some comedy and storytelling to start it off, and then close it out with a jam session like always. So it's going to be fun. Stage door, 7 to 9 p.m., February 3rd and 4th there in Elko. I think it's a $15 cover is what we settled on. So Come join us, have some fun, have some drinks. Make sure you get entered up for a chance to win this here bit. Let me go be right back. I'll grab that head stall. Yeah, so we got a handmade head stall from Buck and Wild Leather. That's Nolan Booth and his wife, or wife, girlfriend, fiance. I'm not sure. Some sort of significant other. And they donated that to the cause. So $5 will get you a raffle spot, or $6 for $20 on the head stall. The bit made by my buddy Ryan Erickson out of Stanley, New Mexico, Oxbar Customs. It's a cool little bit. I like that. I might have to have him make me one similar to that for my own personal use. But I like its little little port bit, grazer style. I like it. It's got some fancy silver, really cool engraving. Ryan's a good dude. It's kind of a crotchety old fuck, but we like him anyways. And I appreciate both of these guys for donating to the cause. The bit, it's $20 for a spot, or $6 for 100. And is that right? Yeah, that's right. For a spot, $6 for 100. And same way, $5 for a spot on the head stall, or $6 for 25. And all the proceeds will go to help compensate the artists coming up to put on a show in Elko. Going to be some cool stuff going on. I'll make sure to bring my trade gear, and yeah, hopefully to see some good shows while I'm there as well. I know the Outside Circle is doing their thing over at the Star, and they've got some sort of mental health. I don't know if it's a panel discussion, some sort of deal at the Stockman. So I'll probably pop in and see what they got going on there. Listen to something. It's mental health is a issue I've covered a little bit before, but like I said, I don't feel qualified much to speak on it. But it seems like an important thing for somebody to talk about. I don't know if I'm the guy, but anyway, they got something like that going on. I don't know what day, what time, but it seemed like a worthwhile thing to check out if you're in town. But anyway, I'm really looking forward. I'm nervous, looking forward to it. But nervous, getting the butterflies. So make sure if you're in town, come check us out. It's going to be a fun one. I'm really looking forward to it. It's I think one of the, and I can't speak too much. I've only been for like one official cowboy poetry gathering. They didn't do much the last 2 years, but me and the wife were really impressed with what they put on there. And I know some people in the cowboy community kind of talk some shit about them getting too mainstream or too yuppie. And I can see that and I understand it. However, I do think all in all they put on a really impressive production, and there's some sure enough good artists that go to that deal, and it's just kind of cool going into. I mean, I'm sure it's kind of the same way, like going to Vegas or going to Denver during stock show or the NFR, and you just you're in. Not that Elko is a big city, but there's just cowboy hats everywhere, and sure enough, guys that like sure enough wear that hat every day, not just some dude dressing up for the weekend. So it's yeah, it's just a real unique experience, and I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing some buddies and shaking some hands, meeting some. If you listen to the show and you're in town, please come find me. It'll be love to shake your hand and shoot the shit. Maybe have a drink with you. It's a good time. We when you take care of cows for a living, you don't get a whole lot of people connection sometimes. Like even me when I work at a feedlot, and so I'm around people a little bit more than you would be on a ranch. But once you get going, you're kind of just you're doing your own thing, and you're not really worrying about other people. You got your own shit to deal with. So it's good to just kind of settle down and catch up with people. And we're the types that typically we like people from a distance, but every now and then, it's good to get together and kind of let loose, let your hair down, and have some fun. So it seems like this is a good a time as any. I'm looking forward to it. So come check us out there at the Stage Door, Friday and Saturday, the 3rd and 4th of February, 7 to 9 p.m. It's the Stage Door there in Elko, kind of catty corner across the parking lot from Stockman's. It's not a real hard place to find, but you kind of get it. You'll find it. You'll find it. Look them up on Facebook. They'll have a map or whatever. But it's gonna be fun. It's kind of funny, like when you get bogged down in work, and then you don't pay much attention to the outside world, because you're focused on getting shit done. And boy, I spent a little bit of time reading the news this afternoon, and boy, what a mess. And like the price of eggs, they had I don't know if it's some sort of bird flu that went through and kind of knocked out a bunch of chickens, but I don't know if that's what it is, plus the inflation and everything else going on. Price of eggs is through the roof. And then you got places like the Netherlands who, at the behest of the EU, is just determined that, and I think this was the Dutch Prime Minister that said, like, agriculture is no longer an essential industry for the Netherlands. Holland is just like, no, we don't need ag anymore. It's like it's not our thing. We're gonna just not worry about ag anymore. We're actually gonna try to get rid of it. Even though they're the number 2 ag exporter in the world, behind the United States. Little tiny country there in Europe, but the number 2 exporter of ag products in the world. $110 billion industry is what they estimated. Like, that's a lot of freaking money. And like some like the newest technology comes out of the Netherlands. I mean, for their prime minister to say, like, it's not an essential industry anymore. Well, I mean, it kind of is. It's kind of how you get your food. It's kind of how you get your fabrics. I mean, I know they do make some fabric out of like oil byproducts and shit, but most people wear at least some sort of cotton or some sort of fabric. Everybody eats. So I like agriculture is not essential. It's, holy fuck, man. What does that even mean? Like, what are you trying to accomplish with that? You're gonna save the earth by starving yourself. Um, or you could save yourself by eating and growing food, and then let the earth take care of itself, which it's always done. Like, I know we can do better to keep it a better place. There's no doubt about that, but we ain't saving the earth. The earth will save itself one way or the other with humans, regardless. You know, like that. The earth don't give a shit about humans. Like it's gonna do what it does, and I just it seems like a dumb plan more than anything. For the lack of a better way to put it, that seems dumb. And it's not just the Netherlands. It's Canada's trying to get on board with some of that same shit, like, or at least their government. California, New York, Oregon, Washington. Crazy people, man. Crazy people. And are they gonna like pat themselves on the back and like carefully though, because they're gonna be all brittle and bony because they don't have any food to eat, but they're gonna like very lightly pat themselves on the back for starving themselves to death, I guess. That's never how it works, though. The people that make those decisions, they'll always eat. Don't worry, they will eat. It's the peasants underneath them they don't really care too much about. Yeah, it seems like this type of shit has been tried before under different names, mostly under communist countries. The Holodomor in Ukraine kind of, you know, that one kind of sticks out a little bit. You know, a famine killed, I don't know, 6 to 10 million Ukrainians, something along those lines. So I mean, so you can kind of understand why the Ukrainians are fighting back against the Russians, and like, you know, at least part of the country doesn't want to be part of Russia. I know there's parts that do, but also like, you kind of see why. Soviets weren't real great. Russia was the biggest part of the Soviet deal, so like, yeah, it makes sense why they don't want. In China under Mao's like one of his great leap forwards or whatever is where they just, you know, the government took over all of the farming industry, and well, they found out that I think they were some sort of like swallow or pigeon. That wasn't a pigeon, but like some sort of small bird. They were losing so much percentage of grain due to these birds, and so in the great infinite wisdom of, you know, the dear leader Mao Zedong, they tried to kill all of these birds that so that they would have a, you know, the most efficient yield of their wheat, or I think it was wheat, maybe it was rice, I don't know. Either way, some sort of grain crop. But in doing so, they allowed some sort of weevil or some sort of insect that devastated the grain crop was allowed to thrive because those birds weren't around to eat that bug. And yeah, it caused a famine. And, you know, China's kind of a big place. A lot of people, a lot more so than the United States, and yeah, a lot of people died, just starved to death. That all came about because of centralized planning. You know, doesn't work very well, and particularly when it comes to food production, because all these experts that'll tell you about how we need to cut emissions and all that shit. Not a goddamn one of them knows how to actually grow food. Not one of them. Bill Gates, do you think that motherfucker knows what it means to farm? Fuck no. The Dutch prime minister says agriculture is not an essential industry. Has no fucking clue where her food comes from. Just assumes you buy it at the store, and that store is, pledged to be green energy friendly or whatever. So that's good enough for her, for them, for they, it. I don't know. They're more worried about offending somebody by using the wrong pronouns than they are about starving their population. It's fucking insane. But hey, I guess that's that's what trusting all these experts will get you. They don't worry about it. We'll just don't worry about the farmer over that crazy farmer that's protesting. Because through some arbitrary decision in Brussels, not even your own country, some foreign body made up of leaders of a bunch of different countries. The EU has their own parliament. They decided that the Netherlands in particular had to reduce emissions. So now, because of a bunch of fucks in the EU parliament, you're a Dutch dairy farmer has been just dairy farming for probably centuries, your family anyways at this point, and now you've got to cut your herd by 90% to meet the standards, and and they're offering you a mandatory buyout, and that offer expires, and they still are going to take your land, but I guess not pay you. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but it's insane, and it's not far from happening in Canada, and then eventually California, and here in the good old U.S. of A. Unless you gotta nip that shit in the bud, and I don't know what the proper action to do so is, but outside of just calling out stupid ideas when you see them. So cutting your agricultural industry in order to please some body of politicians somewhere else in order to probably, in the grand scheme of things, make no difference on the climate. Doing that and causing a food shortage is a dumb idea. It's a dumb fucking idea. And anybody who suggests otherwise should not be in a position of power. And if you have the ability, you should vote them out. So yeah, all these idiots that when they'll the scientists say that we have to cut emissions, well, or else what? Or else what? Because it gets a little warmer. I could go for a little bit warmer right now. I know it's the age old global warming. It's fucking cold out now. Global warming must not be a real thing. I don't know if it is or not, but I could deal with some warmer weather in the meantime. But also I could deal with not starving to death. I'll be fine. I know how to grow shit. I know how to take care of cattle. I don't know too much about pigs, but I know they'll eat just about anything. So if I got some pigs, I'd be all right. My wife does the chicken stuff, so we're good. And yeah, I'll be fine. But agriculture is no longer an essential industry. So when they grow all these bugs that they want us to eat, is that not going to be considered agriculture, or is that it's better because it's less carbon emissions? I don't know how that works. I don't know. But I would really, and I'm sure there is an industrial, like insect production. Like take a hog farm, but miniaturize it, to make crickets or what the fuck ever we're supposed to eat after. Like, are we getting rid of the cows? That was also another question. Like, do we kill off the cows and we just eat really good on beef for a short period of time, and then after that, it's is there like a transition period where you're like 50% of your intake is beef and the other 50% is as insects, and then you just like you slowly wean yourself off of off of the animal protein, but like insects are animals too. So I mean, like how far do we go down that delineating deal where I don't know. I just like I'm coming at this from like a feedlot angle, where you have to transition your cattle on feed, because if you just start feeding them a bunch of corn right as they come in off a pasture, it's not gonna work out very well for you. You gotta acclimate the bugs in their rumen to a different type of feed. So you start them on a high roughage diet, and then increase the energy content as you go. And so is that how we're gonna be as we come off of a meat diet and then transition onto an insect diet? You got to go like 85% meat, 15% cricket, then you go 75% meat, 25% cricket, just like step up until, the cricket curve passes the beef curve. And also one steer would provide you about 800 pounds of meat, roughly. And 800 crickets might make a meal if you grind them all up and make them into a powder of some sort and turn that into some sort of burger, I guess. I don't know. Never cooked with crickets before. But I bet it would take about 800 crickets to make, say, a pound of whatever it is you're going to make with the crickets, as opposed to like 800 1 pound servings of beef coming off of one steer. I don't know what the economy and the ins and outs of the insect farming process looks like, but I don't know. It seems like we do a pretty good job with beef as it is. I don't know. That's just my thoughts. I know some people don't like the industrial side of things, but to those people, I would say go do it yourself in the old-fashioned natural way, and I bet you won't have as much of an issue, buying a package of burger at the store after that, because it's kind of hard work. If you know what you're doing, it ain't bad, but it's a lot of hard work, no matter how you shake it. So, particularly in the winter, like my buck boots they're pretty lightweight until they get a bunch of shit on them, and then, well, as a matter of fact, I got me one of these fancy Apple Watches so that the government can track me even more than they already do. But like, hey, what the hell? It seems like I can also check my own stats, and like I said, maybe I'll be able to beat up on my kids a little bit more. But it seems like according to this deal, the past week, I've I burn about 3,500 calories a day, and this has been a week where I've only been a horseback a couple times, just because it's kind of dangerous to be on a horse right now, and and also I'd hate to cripple a horse when I can do the same thing afoot in a lot safer way. So it's been one of those days. I don't get on a horse unless it's pretty thought out, because it just I don't even know how much good sharp shoes would make on in these conditions, because it's not like you're walking on a slick sheet of ice. It's a bunch of peaks and valleys, and it sucks. Anybody in the feedlot knows what I'm talking about, especially if if I guess if you're a little farther south, maybe you don't understand it. But yeah, anybody who's been in the feedlot on a wet, cold winter, you know what I'm talking about, how that shit freezes, and it's hell on a horse. So yeah, that being said, about 3,500 calories a day is what I've been burning. I don't know how accurate any of this shit is, but it seems like they've got their stuff pretty dialed in, and yeah, it's a lot of work to try and raise food. So I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for people that don't know what it is to grow food, bitching about how it's done. Like, I don't put much stock in what they have to say. Like, you can't completely ignore them, because they're in the day they're customers, and kind of have to take that into consideration at some point. But yeah, I don't see how you get around the fact that at some point somebody has to make food for people, because there's plenty of people out there that without somebody growing their food for them so that they can purchase it, they will die. 100%. Guaranteed they will die, or they will resort to some sort of thievery, possibly cannibalism. I don't know. Or most likely they'll just starve to death. So in order for that to not happen, you should let people just grow food like we have been for quite some time. People get a little crazy, say like pumping way too much water when it's not there. You can be like, hey, knock that shit off. Also, like pollution, all that good stuff. Like, fair points. Keep that in mind. You try to live by the creed of just like leave everything better than what you found it. Like, I think that's a good way to go about life, is just when you go to some place, pick up your shit before you leave. Make sure it's at least as in a good enough, or as good a spot as you found it, if not better. Always try to leave it in a better spot than you found it. And that goes for ranching and farming. Same thing. But what I don't agree with is allowing a bunch of idiots to set policy for us and not pushing back at all. Like, I know there were some protests in the Netherlands over this, but like, not a lot. Like, where was the outcry from the public outside of the farmers? Like, I don't know. So that's kind of I guess the beef that I have with all these advocates, and it's like, well, What have you guys been doing? Because it for all your work educating the public, it doesn't seem like it's helping much. Like there's just not. I don't know. There's not enough people saying, "Hey, that's a stupid fucking idea," and you're dumb for suggesting it. Like I think that needs to happen far more often. It's like, hey, that idea of yours is going to starve millions of people, and you're a moron. I discount everything you have to say from here on forward just because you came up with that idea. I would like to hear people say that to some of the people that are proposing this idiotic anti-agriculture policy. Any of this shit is just stupid. I think we all can agree that it's a good thing to have clean water, clean air, all that good stuff. I mean, you know where you have real clean air? Not in the cities. You know, if you get out of the city and away from the smog of, you know, a bunch of people living on top of each other, the air's pretty clear. You know, it's pretty nice. You know, even when there's tractors going out in the fields all over, you know, putting up hay, you know, harvesting wheat, whatever. When you got all the equipment running out there in the middle of the fields, still cleaner air than driving through LA or New York, you know, where all the people are worried about emissions from farmers. But yet you live on top of each other and you suck in all the fumes from the vehicles and just all of the just people living on top of each other. You're worried about our emissions. No, I'll take my air out here in the middle of nowhere. It's pretty clear, pretty cool, pretty nice. So I don't know. I guess all things being said, I'm just kind of tired of winter right now, and I've been kind of slacking on getting episodes out. So here we go. Classic old Matt McKinley rant session. I like doing these. I never know where they're going to go sometimes. So anyway, please go get a hold of me. Send me a message on Instagram's probably the best place to get a hold of me. Or you can email me, Matt, at burnin-daylight.com. Get entered up. Help me raise some money for these artists. We're going to put on a good show for you. And I got to get them paid somehow. So this will help a bunch. I said $5 a spot for the headstall, $20 a spot for the bit, 6 for $25 on the headstall, 6 for $100 on the bit. All goes to a good cause. Come see us there at the Stage Door in Elko. Also, go support bubsnaturals.com. Promo code Burnin Daylight. Collagen, that stuff works good. My joints don't hurt near as bad since I've been using that stuff. Apple cider apple cider vinegar gummies, MCT oil. I use all that shit. It's supposed to be good for you. Can't vouch for it if it is or not, but it's supposed to be. And no, I like it. Seems like it works for me. So go check it out. Promo code Burnin Daylight. You get 20% off, and I get a little kickback for it. So please go do that. If you're in Elko, come see us. We're gonna have a fun time, and stay warm. Don't break a leg on the ice. And if you have any sorts of ideas about getting rid of agriculture to save the world from weather, I guess, go ahead and punch yourself in the fucking teeth, because that's a dumb idea. If you'd like to eat without having to be a hunter-gatherer full-time, like not once a year when you draw a tag, but like full-time is what it would take for you to sustain you and your family as a hunter-gatherer. If you don't care to do that, that means somebody's going to have to grow food, and that means agriculture. So, whether you think agriculture is good or bad, I don't care. I don't care if you think it's essential. It is. It is 100% essential to the survival of mankind. So, remind these stupid fucking people that somehow make it in positions of power of that fact. Without agriculture, people die. Really unnecessarily. So, anyhow, have yourself a good week, and yeah, move your ass. We're burning daylight.
Your eyes up in the morning, beneath the stars so bright. Pull your hat down, make sure your cinch is tight. Horses kinda snuffy, cold chill up your spine. We'll get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right. Just to gather, and you won't catch 'em all. But when you ride through the gate, make sure you sit up tall. I can see the horizon, it's looking pretty bright. Well, get your ass moving, son, we're burning daylight. Burning daylight. Burning daylight. In the saddle till the job's done right.